Hi class. After a few years of teaching, I believe that I have developed, or at least tried to develop, multiple dispositions that make me a successful teacher. I think the most important one is my dedication to the teaching profession and continuous learning that is involved within this profession. I don't think many people teach to make a lot of money. We teach to make a difference in a child's life and to watch them as they begin to understand the material. And that light or that spark in the child's eyes as they grasp something that was challenging for them is what keeps me committed to teaching. And I always tell my students that we are continuous learners and to never stop learning, which is also why I wanted to go back to college for my master's degree, because I like to model my own advice to really relate to my students. One disposition that I have grown over time is the ability to reflect. And sometimes this reflection can be quick and done within the day. For example, if I teach the same lesson multiple times a day, I can tweak it throughout the day, whether it's I understand that the directions didn't go over so well or the students were interested in one part, so I tweaked it a little bit. So that's very quick reflection. But reflections can also be a drawn out process. And so at my previous school, we had to reflect on units before, during, and after the lesson. And really having that whole process charted out helps you really make those big ideas, or to reflect on some of those ideas and work with your peers to say, okay, well, we gave the same lesson, but it worked for you, but not me. How can I fix that? So those are those bigger reflections. And even after I think I've perfected something, I continually reflect to see if I can improve it, which I can because I'm always learning new things, whether it's from professional development or new technologies, or just the fact that you have new student background that can really change your lessons. Things that I need to work on, I think that working at such a diverse school, and especially with my fundamental ELD students, I think I can improve my ability to be sensitive to the students' learning needs and cultural diversity. My students come from many different countries, and most do not have a formal education. And some of my students, a lot of them are refugees, and some of them are alone while their families are not in the United States. And so while creating these lesson plans, I have to consider all these things and be sensitive and include more diverse readings perhaps, or writing. And I do those things, but I think I can always improve and make it a little better. So for example, we were learning about family vocabulary, and I had to take into account that some of my students don't have the traditional family members. So I had to create vocabulary that would help them describe their own personal situation. And I also tried to include as much multicultural reading as possible to encourage a diversity of conversation within my classroom. As for what a professional educator looks like and how do they behave, I don't think that a professional educator looks a certain way, because teachers can come in all shapes and sizes and styles. I do think that professional educators need to dress appropriately, so that's, what your school believes in, and come to work on time and prepared. As for behaviors, I think that teachers need to produce an aura of positivity and optimism around them, because we are the biggest influence of our students, because they spend about 8 hours a day in school. And students come with personal background as well. Students may be tired, students may be going through tough times, they may be just having a hard day. And if we give them that positivity and that optimism, it can help shape the way the students maybe think in the future, or maybe change the way they behave in class that day. I also think that teachers need to behave ethically in the classroom, and this could just mean something as simple as grading with equity or behavior management with equity. And modeling that good and ethic behavior for students is important, especially as they're going to be citizens of this world. We want them to go out and be as ethically and morally, we want them to have ethics and morals within the world, and to be good communicators and good listeners. And I think teachers need to also demonstrate empathy and show the students that they really care about them to create a safe and positive classroom environment. I don't think there is one set list of standards that guide an educator's thinking or actions. I think we strive to make a difference in our students' lives and understand the importance of exuding these positive behaviors like empathy, positivity, strong work ethics, etc. And our students are the standards that push us to better ourselves, to increase our knowledge, to develop this strong work ethic, or learning how to be more empathetic. So I think that they are the set standards. So it could be constantly changing. Thank you guys for listening.